All right. Next couple of songs we're going to do for you were written by a good friend of ours by the name of Whitey Shafer out of Nashville, Tennessee. This first one's called Does Fort Worth Ever Cross Your Mind? All my exes live in Texas.
Whitey Shafer was born into the wide-open contradictions of Texas on October 24th, 1934, a place where humor and hardship lived side by side, and those contradictions would become the backbone of his songwriting. Long before his name appeared in album credits or climbed radio charts, Shafer absorbed the rhythms of working-class life, learning that songs weren't meant to impress so much as they were meant to survive. Texas music wasn't polished or polite. It was practical, born in bars, dance halls, pickup trucks, and long drives home after midnight. Shafer learned early that a good song didn't explain itself, didn't beg for sympathy, and didn't lie about the way people actually talked. That instinct would later shape songs like Honky-Tonk Saturday Night, recorded by John Anderson, which captured the restless ache and humor of weekend loneliness without ever sounding self-pitying. Before success ever arrived, Shafer lived the life he would later write about. He worked, drifted, drank, listened, and watched relationships unravel the way they often do when pride, distance, and bad timing collide. These weren't imagined characters. They were people he had known, arguments he had overheard, and regrets he had felt firsthand. This lived-in honesty is what made his songs feel conversational rather than constructed. When Moe Bandy recorded I'm Not Supposed to Love You Anymore, it carried the unmistakable Shafer fingerprint. A man acknowledging emotional failure without dramatics, stating the truth plainly and letting it sit. Shafer understood that the most devastating lines often sound like afterthoughts, not declarations. As the Texas outlaw movement took shape, pushing back against Nashville's increasing polish, Shafer found himself aligned with a philosophy rather than a marketing category. He wasn't interested in rebellion for its own sake. He simply refused to sand down his edges. His songs reflected the same independence that artists like Waylon Jennings embodied, even when Shafer himself stayed out of the spotlight. His influence wasn't always loud, but it was consistent, reinforcing the idea that country music should sound like real people with real flaws. That attitude can be heard in songs like Let's Fall to Pieces Together, which acknowledges mutual brokenness with humor and honesty rather than romantic illusion. Shafer's defining moment came with All My Exes Live in Texas, a song that distilled his worldview into 3 minutes of deceptively simple brilliance. At first glance, it sounded like a novelty, a clever line wrapped in a catchy melody. But beneath the humor was a deeply human admission. Sometimes the best solution to your past mistakes is distance. When George Strait recorded the song in 1987 and took it to #1, it became one of the most recognizable country songs of the era. Yet even in its success, the song never lost its outlaw soul. It didn't moralize, didn't apologize, and didn't ask for understanding. It simply told the truth with a smile, a trait that defined Shafer's writing. That collaboration with George Strait would continue, producing songs like Does Fort Worth Ever Cross Your Mind?, a title track that anchored one of Strait's most acclaimed albums and helped earn CMA Album of the Year honors. Unlike All My Exes Live in Texas, this song leaned more reflective than humorous, proving Shafer's range and restraint. He knew when to joke and when to step back, allowing space for longing without sentimentality. Other straight cuts, like That's a Lie, further showcased Shafer's gift for calling out emotional dishonesty without turning bitter, reinforcing his belief that truth didn't need embellishment. Despite these successes, Shafer never reshaped himself into a commercial hit machine. He continued writing for artists who valued authenticity, including John Anderson and Moe Bandy, and he remained skeptical of trends that prioritized image over substance. Songs like Honky-Tonk Saturday Night endured not because they chased radio formulas, but because they felt timeless, rooted in the unchanging habits of loneliness, alcohol, music, and temporary escape. Shafer trusted that if a song was honest enough, it didn't need to shout. In an industry increasingly driven by celebrity, Whitey Shafer remained content being known primarily through his work. He didn't cultivate myth or mystery. He simply wrote songs and let others sing them. This quiet presence sometimes caused his influence to be overlooked by casual listeners, but among songwriters and serious country fans, his reputation remained solid. He was known as someone who didn't fake it, didn't oversell emotion, and didn't confuse cleverness with wisdom. His songs carried a lived-in confidence that can't be taught, only earned. When Whitey Shafer passed away in 2019, he left behind a body of work that continues to speak without explanation. Songs like All My Exes Live in Texas, Does Fort Worth Ever Cross Your Mind, and Honky-Tonk Saturday Night remain part of the country canon, not because they were engineered to last, but because they told the truth simply and trusted listeners to recognize themselves. Shafer's legacy is not just in the hits he wrote, but in the permission he gave future writers to be funny without being shallow, honest without being cruel, and regional without apology. In the end, Whitey Shafer proved that the strongest songs don't demand attention. They earn it, one honest line at a time.